Let's just have our say very briefly first, Darren. 4-0 win for England. There's nothing... No real fanfare about that particular scoreline of result. I think it's probably expected. But my question is, and we'll deep dive into it a bit as the show goes on, but what do we learn from that result and performance, if anything at all?
I don't think we learned anything, to be honest.
Nothing
I think
at all.
We've learned that England are a far superior side, superior to Malta. That's what we've learned. I was saying jokingly off air that we learned that it's windy after 10 in Malta. There's not much to learn off a game, and look, they're all tongue-in-cheek comments, but you have to get the job done, and that's what they've done. They were professional about it. I found the game a little bit boring. I'm not going to lie. It was 4-0 is a good result, but I'd like to have just seen 8-9, because like I said, they're not a footballing country really. Let's be honest. They've been privileged to have England come over to there. The stadium's fantastic, by the way. When I went over there, I had a little look, and it is fantastic. And they'd have been pleased to see the talent that England bring, but they offered nothing, to be honest, absolutely nothing. And
your boredom goes beyond the performance and result of tonight. You think that the qualifiers generally don't serve anybody. You think that the teams, the weaker nations, don't benefit because they don't really progress, and the stronger nations don't really get match ready for tournaments either. So you think it's a lose-lose all round?
I kind of do, yes. And I don't want to sound I don't want to be snobbery from me, but it kind of is. I just think there needs to be restructured, and maybe you have qualifiers with nations like Malta, like San Marino, Belarus, these kind of nations. They get put into like this qualifier, and then the best ones come through and end up playing the teams like England, because it doesn't do anyone any favours. I go as far as saying that as a Spurs supporter, I didn't want Kane to play today. We had Arsenal supporters and yourself in the office. Don't want the Arsenal players. Everton support don't want Everton players. You think Leicester? Do you think Leicester wanted Maddison to be playing out there? He holds the key to their finances potentially in the next year or two. So games like this, Declan Rice, 100 million could be coming West Ham's way. Games like this, you're thinking, I don't want these players to be playing. He picked a really strong squad, but like I said, I don't want to criticise him because he's got the job done. Gareth Southgate's done the job. 4-0 against Malta. Now we move on to North Macedonia, where you're probably going to be seeing another similar scoreline. I just want to go back to your point about we were all in the office, as you mentioned earlier on, hoping that the players of our club sides don't get injured. It's been a very long season. There's been a World Cup in the middle, and the new season isn't that far away as well. As a player, when you're playing in games that, I don't say don't mean anything, but you know that you're significantly superior. How do you play the game? Because you don't want to get... let's say you're Declan Rice, for example. You know you've got a move that's coming, a very big move. How do you play that game? Because you want to give everything. You want to give you all. You want to be professional. But equally, you know that you could be a week away from a £100 million move to a Champions League club. Yeah, I think the players now are so professional that wouldn't be entering Declan Rice's mind. I don't think. And he plays the same way today as he plays in the Champions League final. Yes, absolutely. I didn't get to obviously the national stage. Sure. I got under 21. So I went to play these nations that you knew you were far superior. But once you're over that, once you cross the white line, you give it your all, because you're risking injury if you don't. If you're going into challenges half-hearted, or if you're not making that final sprint, you could get injured. It's worse, it's worse going out. So I think once they cross the white line, as I said, professional performance, very strong team he put out. I think he could have rested a few players that he started, but got the job done 4-0. And I think they all played well, but the quality of player you're up against didn't test them at all. Just before I go to our first call, final point on Trent Alexander-Arnold playing in midfield. I thought he played really well, but we have to caveat that with it was Malta. Yeah. Is that a position for the national team that you would like to see him grow into and groomed into come tournament time? Or do you think actually there's enough midfielders in that midfield that are available that can do a good job that you don't want to see that now? And you think come tournament time, you don't think it will work? No, I think it will work. I think if you're having him in the centre midfield today, like you said, I thought, particularly first half, I thought he was England's best player. I thought he run the game, scored a fantastic goal. He's done that for Liverpool in the last few games of the season as well. So I've been very impressed with him moving into midfield. I think he's only played it for England once prior to this, and he looked comfortable. Okay, the opposition needs to be questioned, I know, so we'd like to see him against stronger opposition. But I think the question marks over Trent Alexander-Arnold is his defensive qualities. And when you're going into international tournaments, international matches, you've got players like Mbappe and Benzema, players like that they'll play on the weakness in the defence, and that was more often than not Trent. So I like to see him move into midfield and run the game as he did today.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy, Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.